Hello everyone, my name is Sark and welcome back to the first SH MonsterArts review of 2025. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the one and only, the Skar King from Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire. So this guy is definitely a controversial release based on some of the things that he has on his actual release, which is most importantly the Beast Glove. So he is currently out in Japan. I don't know if he's still available anywhere. I know he sold out in a lot of places because people were actually interested in getting this guy, but I have seen a couple of pictures of him. Not entirely pleased as to what I saw, but let me make my own judgment for my own self. So without further ado, let's take this guy out and see how he looks. Alright, it's been a while, and I've been playing around with this figure for a bit before doing my entire review. It's been a journey, to say the least. This figure is very interesting in a couple of different ways. So, just to start us off, in terms of appearance and likeness to the character, it looks like Skar King, but as all you may know, he is not shorter than Kong. Kong is still much shorter than him, and I understand that Skar King was kind of hunching over in the movie and all that kind of stuff, but he was still shorter than Kong because Kong actually lived in a good environment where he was able to grow gigantic. And then here's how he compares to Godzilla. Godzilla still being the tallest of the three, of course, even though Kong should be at the same height of Godzilla evolved, but sure, why not? So, in terms of height and accuracy to the movie, in terms of the accuracy to the movie, he looks like Skar King. I think the face sculpt looks really nice, but compared to the height, I think Kong is just the odd one out here because he is extremely short. He should be taller, his body should be bigger, but he is shorter, so yeah, let's just move these guys to the side a little bit. You'll see them later down the line with the pictures towards the end of the video. But again, he looks nice. I think the way that they did his sculpt is fairly okay. I'm not the biggest fan of the Kong sculpt at this point nowadays. And Skar King is very similar to Kong. I could make a whole comparison video showcasing pretty much it works the exact same way as Kong, but he has a couple of differences. A little bit, especially in the face. So, something I will note, when I took him out of the box, his shoulders were very tight. He has a really big peg, like a really thick peg that won't necessarily break if you use it a lot, but I had to use a lot of shock oil to lubricate it, or lubricate the actual joints for them to not squeak or twist and turn and everything like that. And now it doesn't sound like anything, but before it used to sound very bad. I did not even want to move it every now and then. Also, a couple of things that I really dislike that they definitely could have gone away with is these sleeves right here on the shoulders, on the traps over here. They're bad. They get in the way of a lot of things, and they don't serve a purpose besides covering gaps. Kong doesn't have them, so why does he have them? They could have made it a lot better. If they made the sculpt a little bit better, it would have been seamless. So, that's just my opinion. Again, he looks fine. He has a nice, sort of brown wash throughout his entire body. It's a really good crimson wash. The paint job on the actual fur with the gray is really good. A couple of odd things with this figure. So overall, he is good, appearance-wise. His arms are probably a little bit too long, but it makes sense. He is like an orangutan in terms of the actual species of the figure, or the character itself. Realistically, with his head, you could have him stand a lot taller. So but he was always hunchback in the movie, so very big difference. It's like almost a head size difference, like half a head size right there. So hunched out, he looks like this. Oh, so kind of moving into the articulation section. Hunched out, he looks like this. He can barely look up. He can look down a lot, which is really good. Looking up, pretty decent. Unhunched. Looking down, unhunched, is okay as well, but you'll have to use that hunching motion for him as well. So something I want to talk about is the actual head. So the way that they did the head is actually very interesting. So there's two separate peg holes to actually put it in. So the first one actually goes for the back of the head, which is at the very top. So it goes like this. So his head should look like this now. Great, awesome. You'll see the inside of the peg like this, where you can see it connected on there, and you can see the leftover peg hole right there that just goes into the head. He can look side to side a little bit, not too much. The way that they did the face is not really the greatest. It's better than Kong's for sure, because Kong can't look side to side whatsoever. Arms, you can rotate them 360 degrees, which is good. Again, I would just suggest using a little bit of shock oil here and there to just pop the arm off. I didn't have any issues. And then just put a little bit on those joints, and then he will be golden. T-pose, he can actually get a little bit better for T-pose if you lubricate those joints. So very good. Doesn't look too shabby. He does have a bicep swivel. I would also put some shock oil on that if you're worried about that. Not the greatest. It's a very weird way that they did it. That could happen. So that's another thing. When you're using the elbow joint, it's weird because he can't get past 90 degrees. That's as far as you're gonna get. So it looks fine. I just think that they definitely could have done it a lot better. Like this joint moves here, but it's just ball pegs, which is not the correct way of doing elbow joints, because that will just limit the articulation. There is like no sleeve, no nothing. They could have done a hinge for these two, and then he could have been great. Like he could have gone all the way around, but no, they decided to go with ball pegs instead, which is a very weird choice. Hands pop off easily, so that's also an issue. So another thing that I did notice is that his little wrist thing doesn't really match the actual hand in terms of the size. So you're gonna see like the hands be very big while the wrist is like kind of smaller side. So far he's not really doing the greatest things. He has ball pegs for the hands. Again, they can pop off super easily, but just pop them back on easily as well. With the torso, he has no range of articulation whatsoever on the chest, which sucks so much. Kong has a lot of articulation on the chest, but this guy, none whatsoever. But the abdomen, he can look down about that far, which is actually pretty decent. And looking back, not so much. You can get him straight. So, yeah. Torso, right here. You can swivel it a little bit. Go back and forth if you wanted to. Splits for the legs. He can do pretty good splits. You just have to get the arms out of the way. Bunch of ball pegs, which I think is the biggest issue with this figure. There is drop down hips as well, if I recall. Yeah, it's a little bit of a drop down hip, like a hinge, like a pole hip. I don't recommend using those because you could break it easily. Thigh swivel, double jointed knee, which again, this one works a lot better for sure than the actual elbow. You can get a little bit better than 90 degrees right there. Sleeves on the feet, going backwards about that much, going forward about that much. He does have a toe hinge, kind of, so it works. Now, the issue with this guy that I have is that I can't really get him standing for too easily. Like, he needs a little bit of finagling with the actual standing motion and everything. Oh, would you look at that? 10 minutes and we're not even in the accessory section. Whoa, this is going to be a long one, isn't it? So, he's very top heavy. His legs don't really carry the weight too well, which kind of sucks. Because, like, look at him. Like, my issue with him, his toes, like his end toes are curved upside, like, downward. Why? That just makes it worse. Like, it doesn't make it so he's flat on his feet. It makes it so you have to get an angle on the feet. Sometimes you have to, like, pivot the feet out, like, inward, to actually get a decent standing pose with this guy. There's a lot. Yeah, that also happens. His legs are also super weak. His joints, I don't know what it is. Like, his joints are so flimsy. I don't get it. Like, I can't. Let me know if you can. If you have this figure, let me know how long it took you to actually get him standing. Because, my God, look at it. Look at that. And even the head is, like, not even tilted in the right way. And there he goes. So, again, the feet are horrible. It takes a rocket scientist to actually do this. Don't understand why, but it does. Terrible legs. Legs are fine in terms of the articulation and everything. It's just the feet suck so much. Right. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna leave them like that. Let's move on to the accessories because I want to get this done and over with. Holy hell. Alright, so Skar King's accessories, his accessories, not Kong's, are this. It's pretty bare bones, but a little bit more than the usual amount that any SH figure, MonsterArts gets. So that's a plus, I guess? Not for the price, though. So, for the faceplate, we do have a roaring head sculpt, which doesn't look the greatest. I think it looks pretty bad. The paint job on the teeth look horrible as well. I mean, he does have, like, dirty teeth, so it makes sense. The face sculpt doesn't look horrible. I think his snout is just too protruded out. I think that's the biggest issue. Also, the roaring is not big enough. Like, the jaw should be a little bit lower, and the actual mouth should be a little bit bigger too. From just trying to recall from the movie itself. So, face sculpt, people made fun of it. I understand why they made fun of it. It looks a lot better in hand than the actual pictures. I will tell you that. He does have a set of closed fists, which is good. Always love it when a monkey can punch. A set of grasping hands for the whip. And then knuckles for when he's monkeying around. So there is that. We do have his magnificent wired whip made out of a spine of a creature. It looks good. Doesn't seem to have many issues whatsoever. It feels like it's going to be good. So there is that. So, yeah, that's pretty much all of his accessories. Now, let's take a look. There's going to be a little segment in this video where I'm going to be taking a look at Kong's accessory. Alright, so Kong, he gets an additional accessory. He's the premium figure at this point, even though he's a general release, and then every other figure is premium for this character specifically. So, I want to show how to switch out the actual arm. Thank you, Skar King, for not standing up. But yeah, I want to show Kong and everything how to switch out the arm, and just look at the arm closely as well. So in terms of the arm, it looks pretty good. It has like no decals whatsoever, which is weird. The paint job is fine. It's yellow, silver, pretty much it. The hand sculpt is pretty decently done, in my opinion. So, not a big issue there. There's definitely going to be some paint scrapage right here, where the fist is right here at the wrist. Can you not focus on Kong? Jesus Christ. Focus on the arm. Thank you. So, I'm going to move Kong, actually, just so it can focus on the arm itself. So, the arm, you can bend it a little bit. It's kind of like a hinge system. You can take off the actual like pegs right here if you wanted to. So they like move around the actual arm. which is pretty cool. So you can take out both of them at the same time and disassemble the whole thing if you wanted to. I don't think this is going to break easily, so don't try to manhandle it, that's for sure. So in terms of the articulation, that's a straight arm right there. About 90-degree angle with the actual bend, which is not horrible. So pretty good. And then we do have a axe holding hand and a splayed out hand as well. So it's a decent accessory that definitely should have come with Kong in my opinion. But now let's take a look at how to remove this thing, because we do have a ball peg remover from Skar King. I don't know why it's red. I know it's because of Skar King and everything, but it's weird. So let me see if I can take off the arm easily. If I can. There you go. I took out the whole mechanism. Okay, give me a second. Alright, so I'm like manhandling Kong right here. So it doesn't want to come out. So at this point, if you have it like this, I would just suggest like using this to kind of pop it out, I guess. I don't know how it's supposed to work. If I can get it to work. The hell? Wait. Okay, I'm just gonna try to do this. Oh, come the fuck on. Great, that's what I did not want to happen. Okay, so now the ball peg is here. I have the other ball peg here, which is stupid. I'm starting to hate this thing. Okay, you attach this here, hopefully. Okay, it's on there. It's the right arm of Kong. Pop it in the socket. Fucking damn it. God damn it. I hate this figure. I hate Build-A-Figures. They should have just released a Kong with a fucking arm. Alright. Fucking finally, Jesus Christ. Okay. I got the peg. Took it out. Took forever. Took way longer than it actually needed to. If you're gonna do this, don't. I actually would say that you shouldn't do this. Mostly because it's an annoying thing. If you want to have an easy job to actually do it and everything like that, dip it in warm water. I didn't do that because I don't have time to actually do that. Soak up the figure and everything. So what you're supposed to do after you take it out and everything like that, you put the ball on there, and then you're just supposed to sort of leave it on the ground right here. At least from the looks of it. Like put it on the side, put it here. I'm not even showing it. Okay. So you have your ball peg, you put it on the little circle thing, and then you just pop it right in like so. So now I'm gonna just put it right on Kong like that. And there we go. We have our Beast Glove Kong finally. So about it, you can replace the hands as well. This one actually does hold the axe from my understanding. So if I can, regular Kong hands are like falling apart left and right, but then these are like super tight. What the fuck? I don't like the way that they're doing this. Please stop. Okay, that you get the gist. Alright, so these are my final thoughts for Skar King. Also, this is Editing Archer. I've had some time to cool off for this figure. I had a lot of frustration just working with the swapping out of the arm for Kong, having to fix a lot of things with Skar King, especially the really tight joints that I was definitely afraid they would break at some point, and I did not want to stress them out. So I just had to add a lot of shock oil for the entire figure, which I don't think is something that I should have had to do, especially for a brand new figure. But
albeit it happens. Overall, my experience, especially posing him in these last couple of shots, was pretty decent. A couple of gripes is that his whip doesn't necessarily wrap around him the greatest, so that was a an annoying thing to work around with. He has some decent articulation. I found out that he has more articulation than I initially thought during the video, which is surprising. So I just had to push him to the limits, I guess. But overall, I'm gonna give this guy a 7 out of 10. He's not a above average figure. He's not a garbage figure. He's a decent, good figure. Um, his price does not match him. He definitely is like a $70 figure, but overall, I think he's good. He has some decent range of motion and also some pretty decent accessories, actually. So, yeah, that's my overall thoughts for this figure. Let me know what you guys think. That's pretty much all the time I have for you guys today. Again, just let me know that one in the comments what you think of this figure. Do you like it? Do you not like it? I would love to know because this is a very divisive figure for a lot of people. But yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.